Commander Rhea Patel stood at the observation deck of the International Space Defense Station, her dark eyes fixed on the shimmer of light that hadn't been there yesterday. The anomaly hung like a tear in the fabric of space, growing larger with each passing hour. After 15 years of service in the Space Force, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. "Commander, we're picking up something unusual." Lieutenant James Wong's voice cracked over the comms. "The energy signature doesn't match anything in our database." Before Rhea could respond, the shimmer expanded into a brilliant flash. When the light faded, a fleet of crystalline ships hung in the void, their surfaces reflecting the distant sunlight like countless mirrors. The vessels were organic in design, flowing like liquid metal frozen in time. On the bridge of the lead ship, First Sentinel Caro of the Valkyrie observed the human station with golden eyes that held centuries of wisdom. His silver-striped skin rippled with bioluminescent patterns, a sign of anxiety among his kind. The Council had chosen this sector for first contact, believing Earth's wildlife held the key to their species' survival. Honored Sentinel, his second-in-command, Naira, approached with fluid grace. "The humans are broadcasting on multiple frequencies. They're requesting communication." Caro's markings pulsed with a gentle blue light. "Then let us not keep them waiting. The fate of our people depends on what happens next." Back on the station, Rhea received the transmission that would change human history forever. The alien message was crystal clear, transmitted in perfect English. "We come seeking sanctuary and offering knowledge. We are the Valkyrie, and we share more with your world than you might believe." Within hours, the first diplomatic meeting was arranged. Rhea found herself in the station's conference chamber, facing beings that seemed to shift between humanoid and feline forms. Caro sat across from her, his skin now displaying intricate patterns that reminded her of a tiger's stripes. "Our species," Caro explained, his voice carrying a musical quality, "evolved alongside creatures similar to your Earth tigers on our homeworld. Through ancient genetic engineering, we gained the ability to adopt their form. It became our greatest strength, our art, and eventually, our curse." He went on to describe how their homeworld had been destroyed by a stellar catastrophe, forcing them to seek new havens across the galaxy. But their shape-shifting ability was degrading, and only by studying Earth's tigers, the closest genetic match to their ancient partners, could they hope to stabilize their species. Dr. Arjun Mehta, Earth's leading xenobiologist, leaned forward with undisguised fascination. "You're saying your DNA resonates with our tigers? That's extraordinary, but surely there must be more to this story." Naira stepped forward, her form flickering momentarily into that of a white tiger before stabilizing. "We believe it is no coincidence. Our legends speak of ancient cedars who spread life across the stars. Perhaps Earth's tigers and our ancestors share more than just similar forms." The revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. But not everyone welcomed the Valkyrie with open arms. General Viktor Petrov of the Earth Defense Council viewed the aliens with deep suspicion. Shapeshifters who can take the form of Earth's apex predators. He growled during an emergency session. This could be the perfect infiltration strategy. As tensions mounted, Rhea found herself drawn deeper into the mystery of the Valkyrie. During a private conversation with Caro, she witnessed his transformation up close. The seamless flow from humanoid to tiger and back again. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. "Your people fear us," Caro observed, his markings shifting to a deeper blue. "Perhaps rightly so. But we have not crossed the vast darkness between stars to bring conflict. We seek only survival." The first week of contact was a delicate dance of diplomacy and disclosure. The Valkyrie shared glimpses of their advanced technology, sustainable energy systems, medical innovations, and faster-than-light travel. In return, they requested access to Earth's tiger sanctuaries and genetic research facilities. But as Rhea would soon discover, there was another factor at play. Strange energy signatures had been detected near Earth's largest tiger reserves, and the Valkyrie seemed unusually interested in these locations. When questioned, Caro became evasive for the first time. "There are some truths," he said, his markings pulsing with an intensity Rhea hadn't seen before, "that must be uncovered rather than told. What lies beneath Earth's surface may change everything we thought we knew about both our species." As the first part of this extraordinary encounter drew to a close, Rhea couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of something much bigger than first contact. The Valkyrie's arrival had opened a door that couldn't be closed, and behind it lay secrets that would challenge everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the cosmos. The Bengal Tiger Sanctuary sprawled across the foothills of the Indian Western Ghats, its lush forests hiding secrets both ancient and new. Rhea watched through binoculars as Caro approached one of the largest tigers in the reserve, a massive male named Sultan. The Valkyrie's markings pulsed with an intensity that illuminated the pre-dawn darkness. What happened next defied explanation. Sultan, known for his aggressive behavior toward humans, sat perfectly still as Caro approached. The tiger's eyes began to glow with the same bioluminescent patterns that marked the Valkyrie's skin. For a moment, both beings seemed to share a silent conversation. "Extraordinary," Dr. Mehta whispered beside her. "The neural patterns we're recording are synchronized. It's as if they're connected," Rhea finished. "Like they're remembering something together." But their research was about to be interrupted. General Petrov had arrived unannounced with a contingent of international security forces. His helicopter's downdraft scattered leaves across the observation post as it landed. "Commander Patel," he barked, striding toward her. "We've detected unusual energy signatures emanating from every major tiger reserve worldwide. The UN Security Council has concerns about the true nature of the Valkyrie presence." Before Rhea could respond, alarms blared from the research station. Dr. Mehta's tablet displayed readings that sent him rushing to his equipment. "The energy signatures, they're intensifying. Something's happening." Deep beneath the Earth's surface, ancient machinery hummed to life. The Valkyrie ships in orbit began to pulse with the same rhythm as the underground signals. Caro's form flickered rapidly between humanoid and tiger, his control over the transformation temporarily lost. "It was not supposed to happen this quickly." Naira's voice carried equal measures of awe and fear. "The resonance patterns are accelerating. The archive is awakening." "What archive?" Petrov demanded, his hand moving to his sidearm. "You will explain this now." Caro regained his composure, his markings now a deep purple, a color Rhea had never seen before. "Beneath Earth's surface lies a vast network of ancient technological sites, what we call the archive. They were left by those who seeded both our worlds with life. The tigers are not just similar to our ancient partners, they are the key to accessing this legacy." The revelation sparked immediate chaos. Military forces worldwide went on high alert. The Valkyrie ships maintained their position, but powered up their defensive systems. Humanity stood on the brink of either enlightenment or war. In the midst of the crisis, Rhea made a stunning discovery. While reviewing historical data, she found cave paintings dating back thousands of years, depicting humans, tigers, and beings that could shift between both forms. The artwork appeared on every continent, telling the same story: visitors from the stars who shared their gifts with humanity's ancestors. "The truth has always been here," Caro said, examining the images. "Your species once knew of us, of the archive, of everything. But knowledge was lost, buried beneath millennia of progress and conflict." Dr. Mehta's analysis of tiger DNA revealed artificial markers, precise genetic modifications made eons ago. "These aren't just natural mutations," he explained to a stunned audience of scientists and military leaders. "Someone engineered Earth's tigers to be compatible with the Valkyrie biology. The question is, why?" The answer came in the form of a crisis. Sultan, the tiger who had connected with Caro, suddenly collapsed. Other tigers around the world began showing signs of a mysterious illness. The Valkyrie's own genetic degradation accelerated dramatically. It's a failsafe, Naira realized, her form shifting uncontrollably. The archive isn't just awakening. It's testing us. Both species must work together to prove worthy of its knowledge, or both will face extinction. General Petrov, despite his suspicions, recognized the gravity of the situation. If what you're saying is true, we don't have the luxury of distrust. But one wrong move, one sign of betrayal. Rhea found herself at the center of it all, trusted by both sides but fully confident in neither. The Valkyrie's desperate need for survival seemed genuine, but their evasiveness about the archive suggested they knew more than they were sharing. As the sun set on that crucial day, the ground beneath the sanctuary trembled. A geometric pattern of lights emerged through the forest floor, forming an intricate mandala that stretched for kilometers. Similar patterns appeared near tiger reserves across the globe. "The archive is calling," Caro announced, his markings synchronized with the pulsing ground. "We must act now, together, or everything will be lost. Commander Patel, will humanity stand with us?" Rhea looked at the faces around her. Petrov's stern suspicion, Dr. Mehta's scientific curiosity, Naira's desperate hope, and the dying Sultan's weakening form. The weight of two species' futures pressed down on her shoulders. "We'll stand with you," she declared, knowing the real challenges were just beginning. But no more secrets. Whatever lies in the archive, whatever truth awaits us, we face it together. As night fell over the sanctuary, the lights from the archive grew stronger, calling humanity and the Valkyrie toward a destiny written in the stars eons ago. The true test of both species was about to begin, and failure would mean extinction for all. The archive's entrance emerged from the earth like a blooming crystal flower, its faceted surfaces refracting moonlight into prismatic patterns across the jungle floor. Sultan, though weakened, had dragged himself to the threshold, his massive form illuminated by the pulsing lights beneath the soil. Dr. Mehta's instruments were going haywire. These energy readings, they're rewriting everything we know about physics. The archive isn't just a database. It's a quantum computing network that spans the entire planet. Rhea watched as Caro and Naira approached the crystalline structure, their markings now synchronized with both the archive's pulse and Sultan's labored breathing. The connection between the Valkyrie and Earth's tigers was becoming clearer with each passing moment. "In our oldest stories," Naira began, her voice carrying a tremor of reverence, "we speak of the architects, beings who seeded compatible life forms across thousands of worlds. They created the archives as bridges between species, waiting for the day when we would evolve enough to understand their purpose." General Petrov, who had been receiving urgent updates from military installations worldwide, stepped forward. "Similar structures have emerged at every major tiger reserve. The Chinese government reports activity near their snow leopard populations as well. This is bigger than just tigers." A holographic interface materialized before them, displaying symbols that shifted between ancient Earth languages and Valkyrie script. Dr. Mehta gasped as he recognized elements of Sanskrit, Sumerian, and other primordial writing systems. "The archive holds more than just technological knowledge," Caro explained, his form rippling with excitement. "It contains the complete genetic library of both our species and the means to stabilize the bond between them. The tigers are not just similar to our ancient partners, they are their direct descendants, modified to thrive on Earth." As if in response to his words, Sultan suddenly rose, his movements guided by an unseen force. The great tiger's eyes blazed with the same crystalline light as the archive, and through him, an ancient voice spoke. "The trial of convergence begins." The voice resonated in multiple languages simultaneously. "Two paths must become one. The guardians must remember their purpose." The ground shook as the archive projected a massive holographic display, showing the history of both species. Rhea and the others watched in awe as the story unfolded. The architect's original plan to create a network of civilizations across the galaxy, connected by shared genetic heritage and the ability to transform. The Valkyrie were meant to be the bridges, Dr. Mehta realized, his scientific skepticism warring with the evidence before him. Your shape-shifting ability wasn't just for survival, it was to help guide Earth's evolution when the time was right. But the revelation came with a terrible price. The holograms showed how the architect's plan had been disrupted by a cosmic catastrophe, the same event that had destroyed the Valkyrie homeworld. The genetic degradation affecting both the Valkyrie and Earth's tigers was a failsafe, pushing both species toward this moment of reunion. Naira interfaced directly with the archive, her form shifting rapidly as she processed the ancient data. There's more. The architects foresaw threats to their network, dangers that would require unified species to face. The trials we face now are not just about survival, but preparation. The archive's light intensified, and Sultan padded forward, pressing his head against Cairo's hand. Energy flowed between them, and for the first time, the transformation was complete and stable. Cairo's tiger form was perfect, powerful, and permanently accessible. The bond can be restored, he announced, shifting effortlessly back to his humanoid form. But it requires something from both species. Humanity must accept their role as custodians of Earth's genetic heritage, and the Valkyrie must share their knowledge freely. General Petrov, who had witnessed everything, finally holstered his weapon. If what you're saying is true, Earth is part of something far larger than we imagined. But how can we be sure this isn't some elaborate deception? The answer came from Sultan himself. The tiger's consciousness, enhanced by the archive, shared memories that belonged to neither Earth nor the Valkyrie, visions of the architects themselves, their grand design, and the threats they had foreseen. Rhea felt the weight of the moment. We're not just deciding the fate of two species, she realized. We're deciding whether to accept our place in a grand design that's been waiting for us since before we learned to walk upright. Dr. Mehta's instruments detected another change. The genetic deterioration in both Sultan and the Valkyrie was beginning to reverse, but only where the two species worked in direct cooperation. The archive was demanding proof of their ability to work together before it would share its full power. A choice lies before us, Cairo announced, standing between his people and humanity. We can embrace the architect's vision, combining our strengths and accepting our shared destiny, or we can remain separate and watch both our species fade into extinction. As the night deepened, more tigers approached the archive's entrance, each accompanied by signs of ancient technology awakening beneath the earth. The next few hours would determine not just the future of two species, but perhaps the fate of all life in the galaxy. The time of separation was ending. The era of convergence was about to begin. A massive storm system formed above the archive sites worldwide, the swirling clouds pulsing with the same crystalline energy that emanated from below. Within the Indian sanctuary, Rhea and her unlikely allies gathered around the holographic interface as it displayed a warning that none had expected. Multiple objects detected approaching solar system. The archive's interface announced. Signature match. The Devourers. Cairo's markings flashed crimson with alarm. The threat the architects foresaw. They're already here. The trials weren't just about proving our worth. They were preparing us for this moment. The holographic display showed massive biomechanical entities entering the outer solar system. Living ships that consumed all forms of life they encountered, breaking down genetic material to fuel their endless expansion. They were the reason the architects had created their network of connected species. Dr. Mehta's analysis of the new data revealed a terrifying truth. These devourers, they're drawn to concentrated sources of genetic diversity. Earth, with its millions of species, is like a beacon to them. General Petrov immediately activated global defense protocols, but the archive's simulation showed conventional weapons would be useless against the approaching threat. The Devourers had evolved to withstand everything except the specific technologies the architects had left behind. This is why the Tigers were modified, Naira realized, interfacing with the archive. Their DNA, combined with our transformation abilities, can generate an energy frequency that disrupts the Devourers' biomechanical systems. but it requires perfect synchronization between our species. Sultan, now fully recovered, led a procession of tigers into the archive's central chamber. The great cats moved with purpose, as if answering an ancient call. Around the world, similar gatherings occurred at every archive site, tigers and other big cats converging on the crystalline structures. The architects built a planetary defense system, Rhea understood suddenly, and we're the key to activating it. Both species, working in perfect harmony, creating a resonance field that could protect not just Earth, but this entire sector of space. The next few hours were a blur of preparation. Dr. Mehta worked with Valkyrie scientists to establish the genetic synchronization protocols. General Petrov coordinated with military forces worldwide to protect the archive sites, and Rhea found herself in the unprecedented position of orchestrating the largest joint operation between two species in Earth's history. Karo, in his tiger form, worked with Sultan to demonstrate the precise resonance frequency needed. Other Valkyrie followed suit, each bonding with a specific tiger partner. The sight of humans, tigers, and shapeshifters working together would have been unthinkable just days ago. The Devourers will reach Earth's orbit in 6 hours, the archive warned. Planetary defense grid at 30% capacity. Synchronization between species must be achieved at all major nodes for successful activation. Complications arose at archive sites around the world. Some tigers were resistant to bonding, while some human military forces remained suspicious of the Valkyrie. Every minute of delay brought the Devourers closer to Earth. In a moment of inspiration, Rhea realized what was missing. "It's not just about physical synchronization," she announced. "The architects didn't just give us compatible genetics, they gave us compatible spirits. The bonds have to be emotional as well as physical." Following her insight, the Valkyrie began sharing their deepest cultural memories with their tiger partners through the archive's interface. Stories of their lost homeworld, their centuries of wandering, their dreams of finding a new home. The tigers, through their enhanced connection to the archive, shared their own tales, generations of watching over Earth, carrying the dormant knowledge of the architects in their very genes. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The resonance fields around each archive site strengthened exponentially. Tigers and Valkyrie moved as one, their combined energy feeding into the planetary defense grid. Humans provided the final component, the conscious choice to accept and support this union of species. Defense grid at 70%, the archive updated. Devourers entering lunar orbit. Time to intercept, 30 minutes. As the storm clouds above grew more intense, Rhea watched the first visual feed of the Devourers. They were horrifying in their alien beauty. Massive, shifting structures of bone and metal that seemed to drink in light itself. And they were heading straight for Earth. All archive sites, she commanded through the global communication network, initiate final synchronization. General Petrov, status of site security. All sites protected, he confirmed. Military forces worldwide are standing by. Whatever happens next, Commander, humanity is ready. The moment of truth approached as the Devourers entered Earth's upper atmosphere. The combined power of humans, tigers, and Valkyrie was about to be tested against a threat that had consumed countless worlds before them. But unlike those other worlds, Earth had inherited the architect's greatest legacy: the power of unity between species. As the first Devourer ships breached the clouds above the Indian sanctuary, Rhea stood with Karo, Naira, and Sultan at the heart of the archive. The real battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. The Devourers descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their biomechanical forms casting massive shadows over the landscape. At the archive site, Rhea watched as the planetary defense grid reached its critical moment. The combined energy of thousands of synchronized tigers and Valkyrie created a visible aurora that encircled the globe. Defense grid at 98%, the archive announced, initiating primary countermeasure sequence. The first Devourer ship launched its attack, a wave of genetic dissolution that had stripped life from countless worlds before. But as it struck the resonance field generated by the united species, something unprecedented occurred. The attack wasn't just blocked, it was reversed. "The architect's design is perfect," Dr. Mehta exclaimed, watching his instruments. "The combined genetic signatures of tigers and Valkyrie create a destructive harmonic against the Devorer's own biological components." Sultan and Karo moved as one being, their synchronized forms channeling energy through the archive's crystalline structure. Around the world, similar pairs led their own nodes of the defense network. The sky blazed with colliding energies as humanity witnessed their first interstellar battle. But the Devorers hadn't consumed countless worlds by being easily defeated. They adapted, shifting their attack patterns and targeting individual archive sites. Several nodes in remote locations went dark as their defenders were overwhelmed. "The grid is weakening," Naira warned, her markings pulsing with strain. "We need something more than just synchronized defense. We need to take the fight to them." General Petrov, who had been coordinating global military response, stepped forward with an unexpected proposal. "The archive doesn't just connect the sites on Earth. Those energy patterns extend into space. If we could use your ships and our satellites to create an orbital resonance array," Karo finished, his eyes gleaming. "Commander Patel, if we redirect power from the ground-based sites to a focused orbital strike." Rhea understood the risk. Weakening the ground defenses could leave Earth vulnerable, but a coordinated orbital attack might be their only chance to drive off the Devorers permanently. The next few minutes would determine the fate of both their species. The plan came together with remarkable speed. Valkyrie ships positioned themselves at strategic points around Earth's orbit, their crystalline hulls channeling power from the archive network below. Human satellites were repurposed to act as focusing lenses for the combined energy. "All sites, prepare for power redistribution," Rhea commanded through the global network. "Synchronize on my mark. Now." The effect was immediate and spectacular. Energy from every archive site surged upward, channeled through the orbital array. The Valkyrie ships glowed like new suns, their forms barely visible through the intense light. And at the center of it all, the profound connection between tigers and shapeshifters reached its ultimate expression. Sultan roared, and through him roared every tiger on Earth. The sound carried ancient power, the voice of species that had been preparing for this moment for millions of years. The Valkyrie added their own harmonic, their combined consciousness focused through the archives network. The Devorers tried to retreat, but the orbital array had trapped them in a web of resonating energy. Their biomechanical forms began to break down, unable to maintain cohesion against the combined power of Earth's united species. The architects knew, Dr. Mehta realized, watching the data stream across his displays. They seeded compatible species across the galaxy as an immune system against threats like the Devorers. "We're not just saving Earth, we're part of a galaxy-wide defense network." The battle reached its crescendo as the largest Devorer ship attempted one final desperate attack. It dove straight for the main archive site, its massive form breaking apart, but still deadly. Rhea watched as Karo and Sultan, still moving as one, stepped forward to meet the threat. The resulting collision of energies was blinding. When vision returned, the Devorer ship was gone, and in its place hung a shimmering curtain of harmonic resonance that spread rapidly across the sky. The remaining Devorers, caught in its web, dissolved into basic particles that rained down as harmless light. As the dust settled and the energy field stabilized, the true magnitude of what had happened began to sink in. Humanity had not just survived its first contact with hostile alien life. They had discovered their place in a grand design millions of years in the making. "The archive is fully activated now," Karo announced, his form settling back to humanoid while Sultan sat regally beside him. "Its knowledge is available to both our species. The architect's dream of unity can finally be realized." General Petrov, looking at the data from space tracking stations, nodded in satisfaction. No sign of the Devorers anywhere in the solar system. "Earth is safe." But Rhea knew this was just the beginning. "We're not just safe," she said, watching as humans, tigers, and Valkyrie gathered around the archive's glowing interface. "We're awake. The real journey. Understanding our place in the galaxy and learning to use these gifts wisely. That's just beginning." As the sun rose on a new day, Earth had changed forever. The tigers would remain guardians of ancient knowledge, the Valkyrie had found their true purpose and a new home, and humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe. Together, they would explore the full potential of the Architect's legacy, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them among the stars. In the jungle around the archive, a tiger cub played with a young Valkyrie, their forms shifting and blending in the morning light. It was a glimpse of the future, one where the boundaries between species faded, and the galaxy's ancient plan for life could finally unfold as intended. The story of Earth's awakening had only just begun.